Hi, it's John Lilly here again with Junior Game Creators. We've got a little glitch hunt here. We've done one of these before with the Saturn project, but this one is a cute little game, some great little music in the background. You might recognise it from another video game. And we're going to have a little play of this game. But first of all, we're on the project page here. I'm not going to go and see inside just yet. Just going to have a look at the instructions, because this game says I use the mouse pointer to position the circular sight, and then I'm using the mouse button to throw a snowball. We're not far off Christmas, so we thought we'd have a little festive game. Each monster that I hit is worth a different amount of points. The furthest one away is 30, then 20 for the middle one, and then 10 for the nearest one. So I guess it's easier to hit that one. There's a few glitches to hunt down. Can I find them? So I'm just going to go over here and use this sort of full screen button here, and the game started. So friendly monster bash. I've got a score of 455 there. We've got a nice little tune going. I do recognise that. I'll ask you at the end, see if you can find out which game that's from. Some of you may already know. And what I've got to do here is have a look at why that score's staying there. I've got a high score of 0 at the moment, which is fine. So let's press space. So I hit the space bar. I've got to shoot some monsters. Move and click your mouse to aim. Alright, so we've got some trees in here. Let's see what pops up. There's one in the middle. 465. 465. 4. I'm getting 10 points for him at the moment. I thought that was 20. I got 5 points for him. That was supposed to be 10, but I'm only getting 5. So that's a little bit odd. Oh, and then the game's finished and it says press space to restart. Oh, and when I hit space, nothing happens. So let me just stop that for a second. So interesting, so we had no score, that didn't reset. The points for hitting the different monsters seemed to be 5 and 10. I didn't see one come up further away to test that one. The time was up. I mean, I had a big score, although it wasn't a real score, and my high score didn't seem to work, so that needs fixing. And it seemed to go over very quickly. I've got a feeling it should be 60 seconds. It didn't say that, but it did seem a little bit short to try and get any sort of meaningful score. And then when it said time's up, I couldn't press the space bar to restart. So hopefully you've found those similar glitches when you played the game. Now let's take a look. I click back here to shrink the screen down, and let's have a look inside. So inside I've got my usual stage area. I've got a number of sprites. So we've got our friendly monster sprites, and if I look at the costume, I've got costume 1, costume 2 and costume 3. They're kind of cool little dudes that we need to hit with our snowballs. 3 costumes. I've got my press space to start, and that's got a couple of costumes there as well. My instruction screen. I've got my sight that moves around. Got the little trees in the background that the monsters were hiding behind. I've got my snowball. I've got my times up, and then I've got the stage with the trees on the background inside of there. So those are my different sprites. I'm going to start on the backdrop. I'm going to have a look at the scripts. And if we have a look in here, there's my clue. Look, it was from a good old Mario Kart 64. On the Nintendo, so that's where the soundtrack for that one came from. So I can see here immediately that it's when I receive start. So I'm clicking this green flag. It's playing the music, and then at some point somewhere it's going to broadcast start, and then this is happening. So I'm going to change this, and I'm going to change that to 60, just to give it a longer gameplay. And then also inside of here, I can see that we're not setting a variable to set the score to 0 when we start the game. I'm just gonna have a flick through. No, there's a set game to 0 and game to 1, so that'll be just whether we're actually playing yet or not. There's no set score on there, no set score here. So I think I'm honing in on the fact that we've not initialized that variable at the beginning of the game. So I'm actually going to do that just here as soon as we click the green flag. So I'm going to go under data, and then I'm going to set. They don't always say the variable that you want, but I can still drag this in here and then say set score to 0. So that will reset my score. And the other thing that wasn't working, let me just try that. So I'm just going to click the flag. Yes, now my score is on 0. Brilliant. So I'm not going to start this game now. I'm just going to stop that. So I've got my reset, but I also want my high score to work. Now, I've got here when I receive game over. So somewhere else in my game, there must be a broadcast game over. And that's here. Wait 60 seconds, then it sets the game variable to 0 and broadcast game over. So when I receive game over, that's the point I want to see if my score is greater than my high score. So I'm going to pop right in here a little if statement. I'm going to take that outside of there. And here I want to say if, I need an operator, if my score is greater than my high score. So I go and get those variables from my data area and say if my score is greater than my high score. If that is the case, then I want to set my high score to equal whatever my score is. If my score is not greater than my high score, then it ignores this and it just carries on to the next command. So whenever we end the game now, I should be able to replace my high score value here with whatever my score is, but only if I've beaten it. So let's, I've made a few changes there. So I'm going to play the game and see if I can beat the high score. I'm considering the high score is 0. Just for your own information, if you double click on here, you'll change these. And I can actually change the value of my high score and then double click it again. And that just allows you to set a variable on the fly whilst you're testing, which is kind of neat little idea. So let's have a little go. I've got 60 seconds. So there's my start screen. I'm pressing space. Gives me some little instructions here. Move and click the mouse to aim and shoot. So there we go. I'm aiming and shooting. Well, I've got nothing to shoot yet. There's one. Got him. Got 10 points for him. Sure, that should be 20. Yeah, I've got 10 points again. Oh, there's one at the back. Got him. Yeah, I only got 15 for him. So it seems to be that I've beat my high score, so I'm looking like a good score here. 50, there's that one in the middle again. Wouldn't mind another one of these. Oh, it's popular down there. It's quite a nice little motion, that snowball flying through the air. It's similar to our skeet shoot that we did, the clay pigeon shooting, where it's sort of going up and then coming down again. Pretty cool. Oh, good. Easy to shoot this one down here. These are a little trickier, and this one doesn't come up as often. So there must be... Ah, there's my game over. And we can see here, my score's 120, and when the game over has come up, my high score's been made 120. I still can't press the space bar to restart the game, which would be good, so I'm just going to stop that. That stops the tune as well. It's getting in my head. I've got an earworm now. I'm going to be humming that all evening. So my high score's working. If I press the green flag, my score goes back to 0. Just going to stop that again. So that's come together. I think we've done some good little glitch fixing there. Now, what feels like the odd thing is that game over. It's when this time's up section is on the screen. So it says here it hides that to begin with, and when it receives game over, so that only pops up when that broadcast game over after 60 seconds comes up, and it waits a second, it shows it, goes to the middle of the screen, X0, Y0 is slap bang in the middle, gets rid of any graphics effects, make sure it's 100% size. We've missed a bit. Wait until, and what I need to put in here is space is pressed. So wait until space is pressed. If space is pressed, then it will go on and hide that, and then it will broadcast start again. So that should now work. Now, for testing purposes, you can do this a lot when you're testing. I don't want to have to wait 60 seconds to test that. So I'm just going to go to 10 seconds. I'm going to make that change. Then I'll be able to test this piece a little bit quicker. So click the green flag, press the space bar, get my little instructions, and it'll probably do game over almost immediately. There we go, we're off and running. This should end pretty quickly. There we go, didn't even get a chance to shoot anything. But now if I press space, I go back to the start again, right, which is kind of cool. Now I should be off and running and able to play. And then game over. So that's working well. So I'm just going to press stop there. Now I think I found something else that may be going wrong here, because if we're looping through and starting at such a point now, I've got a feeling that we may have put the set score to 0 in the wrong place, because actually if we start again, we're not clicking the green flag to start the game, we're doing when I receive start. So I think I can sort that out by actually using the set score to 0 right in there as well. Now I've caught it when I start the game, and then I've kind of caught it when I receive the start. Let's change my time back here so I get to shoot something and get a score. And let's test that now. So I've just added this set score to 0 here, and I think that will allow us to restart the game, press space to start, and still get that score as it. So my score is 0, which is fine, which it was before. Hopefully I'll get a chance in that 30 seconds to throw some snowballs at some monsters. Let's see. Oh yes, I got the far one. Still only got 15. I'm sure that should be 30. There's a short one, that's 20. I don't think I'm going to beat 120 because I've only got 30 seconds. Could do with a couple more of those. Let's have a look. There he is. Got him. 45, not bad, but I'm running out of... there it goes. Ran out of time. Now if I hit space now, I can restart again. You can notice my score's gone back to 0. And now I can start shooting my monsters again. So... now we've got a never-ending loop inside of there. I've got 5 points now. That allows me to keep trying and trying to get my highest score. So I'm just going to stop that. So that was pretty cool fix there, and just thinking laterally about what that would do. Going to change that back to 60 seconds where it should be. And now we've got the last bit really. We've done the score. We've done the high score. We've reset the score in 2 areas. The time was too short. We fixed that. The space wasn't working at the end, and we've fixed that with a nice little bit of code. And now if we go into, well, I'm guessing it's going to be in. There's a lot of code in here for these little critters. But you know, it's worth just reading through that code, because actually it's not too difficult once you read into it. And you know, we're creating these clones, these different monsters that come up, and then picking a costume at random, and then making them come up, and then depending on what the costume is that we've used, they're coming into different positions on the screen. Now somewhere in here there must be, if it's touching my my snowball here. So here's if touching snowball, and it's got to be a certain size for it to count as a hit. So yeah, I get that, because they're at different distances, so that's good. And then we've got here it is. So change score by 5 multiplied by whatever the costume number is. So we've got 3 costumes. So costume 1 would be 5, costume 2 would be 10, and costume 3 would be 15. So there's the mistake. We need that to be 10, yeah, multiplied by whatever the costume number is of, so we've got 3 costumes, 1, 2, 3. And on that code, it's choosing a random costume and then creating a clone of itself, positioning it in a different location, and then checking to see whether it's actually been touched or hit by the snowball. So let's test that. So I should now have 60 seconds, and to try and get a high score. Press space to start. And now as I move around here now, I've got the ability to shoot these, and I should get 10, 20 and 30, which should Yes, 30 points. Allow me to get a decent score. Oh, keep coming, that one. That one back there, that's 30 points. Oh, 30 points again. That's 90. That was lucky. There's a short one, so he was a nice little 10 points. So our scoring's working now. 110. I need one more to get my high score. There he is. That was brilliant. So that was 20 points. So my scoring's working properly now. I'm getting a good level of points. I've got 60 seconds to try and get as many points as I can. And then you can let your parents have a go and see how good they do. But quite a polished little game. Few problems with it that we've been able to fix. Oh, I just missed that last one. 280 points, and there's my high score. 280. Press start. My score goes back to 0, and off I go again. Super. So a nice little glitch hunt there. Quite a complex little game. So, you know, just read through the code on the different sprites, get a feel for how this works, and go ahead, customize it. Change the images for the monsters, change whether it's a snowball or something else. You can change the backgrounds of the trees, change the colors, change the music, change some of the sound effects. Remix this game, make it your own, see what you can create, and then challenge your friends and family to see if they can beat your high score. So that's it for another month of this glitch hunt. We'll do another one coming up shortly. We've got some great game ideas coming in from the community, so do send us in your examples or ideas for new games that you'd like us to do. But for now, ta-ra, and see you next month.